Hey, what's going on, everybody? JJ Wilson here, and for this recording or video, I'm going to talk about the anime series Cestvs, the Roman Fighter. The series isn't quite over yet. I think it's 12 episodes. I have to double check. But I went ahead and watched episode 11. I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and put my thoughts about the series because it's about over anyway. And overall, I guess you can tell by the tone of my voice, it's a bit of a mixed bag, really. The fight scenes in the show, which one of the big reasons that kind of caught my attention because it was a boxing anime, right? An ancient boxing anime based in ancient Rome. Sadly, it didn't have the flair and the excitement that we would have seen in past fighting animes in recent years, like Baki, like King and Ashura, like a Megalobox. You didn't get that at all out of the fight. And I think another issue with this anime is the pacing. Like the beginning of the series, I remember like it started off in Rome, and then I think by the second or third episode we were already in Pompeii, and we couldn't really connect with some of the initial characters that were there, which are actual historical figures like Nero, who's a child emperor at the time, and his mother, Operinga. I think that's how you, Agrippina, excuse me. So we got to know very little of her, and Ruska is actually a very interesting character who meets the protagonist Cestvs, who's, and let me touch on Cestvs right quick. Cestvs is basically a slave, so he has to spend his entire existence fighting in order to stay alive, pretty much. And fortunately, he gets to meet his trainer, who's probably my favorite character in this whole series so far. But I'm gonna touch on them in a second. Let me get back to Ruska. So Ruska is basically this dude that's also a famous figure, and he's like the imperial guard for the Roman Empire, and he uses an unusual style called I think it starts with a P, practishkin or something like that. I have to go back and look it up. You have to forgive me there, but basically this style of fighting is open hand, and it's kind of like an early ancestor predecessor for mixed martial arts, and it focuses on palm strikes, submissions, joint locks, things like that. And he's pretty much the only guy in this whole show, the reason why I'm bringing him up, that pretty much gave Cestvs his first L, at least on the show. So, because Cestvs was like the guy killed by this kid, man. He was that strong. Okay, and he never fought anybody like this dude before, and that's how they kind of got this bond, this unusual bond already. And because he didn't kill Cestvs, like his father, Ruska's dad, I forget his name, he pretty much scolded him for it, called him weak. And Ruska's like, one day I'm gonna kill you, bastard. So he's one of the few characters that's actually kind of cool in the show. But let me touch on Cestvs. Basically, Cestvs would not be in the position that he's in as a fighter if it wasn't for Safar. Safar is probably the coolest character in this whole entire show. The dude got so much swag and so much poise and wisdom, it's not even funny. I mean, the coat over his shoulder says it all. I mean, come on. Class. Stud, And the cool thing about him is that, despite how crippled he is, he's still very, very strong. He's walking with a cane. He's got a messed up knee. And because of his knee tearing up and stuff, like it's in a brace and he can't fight anymore. But he's an excellent boxing coach. Excellent trainer. I mean, he's telling Cestvs all the stuff that he needs to do in order to win his fights. And him and his slave buddies, they have to endure all this stuff, which is amazing, And then like there was one demonstration in the last episode I watched that he was telling the boys how to increase their grip strength when it comes to punching. And so he took an apple. He took the apple and immediately started squeezing it and crushed. Like it crushed to bits. He made it look so easy. It was almost like something you see out of Dragon Ball. The way he picked up the apple and just crushed it. I'm like, dang, this guy's insane. He's got crazy grip strength. So yeah, Safar is that dude. You can tell. He's definitely that dude. And if it wasn't for him, Cestvs would have got his butt killed easy in the show. And it's crazy how much luck this kid really has, as pointed out by the guy that he fought after another character named Edmund. He fought Felix. And that fight was actually a better fight compared to the fight that Cestvs had with Edmund. Because Felix was a pro, and if it weren't for the fact that Cestvs kind of figured out a way to enhance his punching, his knockout abilities, I don't think Cestvs beating Felix. There's no way. And Felix was wondering too after the fight, how the heck did I lose this kid? You know, because I have these unusual fighting styles. I can fight with my hands closed up. I can fight with my hands down. I can fight in tight spaces, open spaces. Like, I know everything there is to know about arena boxing, yet this dude schooled me. Like, he's tougher than most boxers I fight. So how did this kid do it, you know? It really was just tremendous coaching and grit overall from Cestvs. I mean, like I said in this whole show, the only L he took was from Ruska. And it was because Ruska doesn't fight like a boxer. He fights more like an assassin. He fights like an Imperial Guard. He doesn't fight like a boxer. He fights to kill, not to, you know, damage or injure somebody. I mean, it's crazy. In a way, it almost makes it seem like it's too easy for Cestvs too. I mean, he's going through stuff, but with his meek personality and, you know, his nonchalantness at times, it's like, how is this kid doing so good? The only logical explanation is the trainer, Safar. This is why he's getting as far as he is. Safar is telling him everything he needs to do, and the boy executes, man. He listens. He's a good listener, and he can see things. He has incredible vision, as noted by Felix after they fought. So, I mean, in a way, you know, Cestvs, while, you know, he's going through stuff, just based on his personality, he's not like the most likable protagonist because it feels like everything's just handed down to him a little too easy. And he's only getting as far as he's getting it because of Safar's teachings, basically, you know. So, overall, like, the story is good, but the pacing is kind of up and down at times. And I think the latter part of the season, it started to get a little better because now they're in Sicily at this point in time. They went from Rome to Pompeii to Sicily. And so the pacing's starting to get a little better. And you're starting to see some of the characters we saw in the beginning of the show, like we did at the end of the show, like Ruska. And Seth is reuniting with Ruska, and Ruska's telling, hey, man, you might want to back out of this tournament, bro. You ain't ready. You know, he put it very meekly. And Seth is like, I can't back down from this now, man. I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my freedom and stuff like that. And I haven't even touched on Sabrina. Sabrina was basically this uppity heifer that's like super rich from Pompeii, and it was crazy what she did because she pretty much, I said this in the podcast a while ago with Ash the Man, like this woman pretty much pushed away a guy that pretty much admired her, respected her greatly, probably loved her too, in Edmund, pushed him away after serving her for 16 years for this kid, Cestvs, because she felt like he was easy on the eyes and he didn't have the scowl look on his face like Edmund does all the time. And I'm like, that's messed up. What a biatch. You know? So thankfully, in that particular fight against Edmund, Cestvs did win, and Sabina, yeah, she didn't get her way. She did not get her way at all. So lucky there. Well, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts overall. You know, I know I revealed too much already. For those that do want to watch still, you can watch. Just note that there's pacing issues here. And it seems like the people that made the show, that animated the show, they were indecisive as to where the animation was going to be like. Because the fights were in 3D, but like the outside fights were like in 2D. So it made things kind of, it made you scratch your head like, okay, are they really trying to stick to 2D or the 3D animation? Like, what's going on here? You know, I think that turned off a lot of people too. And really the character development of Cestvs is it feels like he's winning, but he's winning too easy. I feel like he needs to go through more hardship, especially given his meek personality. And really the only reason he's getting as good as he is because of Safar. Because Safar is that good of a teacher. You know? But those are my thoughts. But anyway, tell me how you think of the show and what you like about the show, what you dislike about it, and I'll be out of here. Later.